Welcome to the Wtby Board of Education regular meeting, February 18th. We'll start with our moment of silent prayer, and please keep in mind the family and Chief Justice Antonio Scalia and all of his contributions to our country. Thank you.
Madam President, we have several also moment of silence this evening. We have 4 former teachers to remember. Mrs. Alice McKinney, Mrs. Ann Latenzio, Mrs. Harriet Urban, and Dr. Ruth Franks. Mrs. McKinney was a teacher in the Wtby Public School System for many years and taught at both Maloney and Chase schools. Mrs. McKinney passed away Wednesday, February 3rd. On Friday, February 5th, Mrs. Ann Latenzio passed away. She taught for the Wtby Department of Education at Driggs in Gilmartin at the time of her retirement after 36 years. She was also an acting vice principal at Gilmartin. Also on Friday, February 5th, former teacher Mrs. Harriet Urban passed away, and Dr. Ruth Franks, also a former teacher in the Wtby Public Schools, passed away on February 8th. Let's please remember all of these wonderful teachers for their service and dedications to the students of Wtby Public Schools tonight.
Thank you.
Present. Here. Here.
Present. Thank you. Communications to the board. Copy of communication dated January 19th from Civil Service certifying James DiAugustino for the position of Administrative Support Specialist 1. Email communication received January 21st, 2016 from Robert Goodridge regarding pilot course entitled Teaching Assisted Seminar. Communication received January 28th from French-speaking Baptist Church of Wtby regarding Walsh's parking lot. Copy of communication dated December 19th, 2015 from Bloom Shapiro and Company, PC regarding submission of the city, state, and federal audit reports for year ending June 30th, 2015. Copy of communication dated December 19th, 2015 from Director of Finance Michael LeBlanc regarding submission of the city's comprehensive annual finance report for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2015. Email communication dated February 13th, 2016 from Bernadine Oritas regarding naming of Wtby Career Academy's library. Email communication dated February 13th, 2016 from Franklin K. Ray regarding naming the WCA library in honor of K. Wyrick. Email communication dated February 13th, 2016 from Sabrina Freeney regarding naming the WCA library in honor of K. Wyrick. Email communication dated February 13, 2016 from Joyce Thomas regarding the naming of WCA library in honor of K. Wyrick. Email communication dated February 14, 2016 from James Monroe, NAAC President, regarding naming the WCA library in honor of K. Wyrick. Civil summons received February 17, 2016, re plaintiff Laura D'Averso. Motion, may I have a motion, please?
Motion to receive and place on file communications is read.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Next is public address to the board. All speakers are encouraged to submit prepared written statements to the commissioners. Comments shall be limited to a maximum of 5 minutes. The chairman will disallow a speaker from continuing to speak if slanderous or defamatory remarks are made. There will be no responses this evening to any questions or concerns raised. They will be referred to the administration for review and response. Thank you. Our first speaker is They should.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Lisa Lassard?
Good evening, Lisa Lassard. I have a little bit of a cold, so hopefully my voice will carry. I'm here in accordance to last workshop when it came to Wendy Owen, Director of Special Ed and Pupil Services herself, said that they hired a lot of special educational teachers since the beginning of the year. That'd be January 2016, in case anybody would like to know. Wendy also said her department is down 5 sped ed teachers still. Ann Sweeney then said, so you are not down 17 supervisors of special ed? I think she was referring to my speech, the meeting before that, where I said that the director of special ed and pupil services basically was down 17 teachers of special ed and 2 supervisors of special ed. I said 17 teachers, and to be clear, I said 2 supervisors of special ed. So then I decided to do some homework. So I went on the website. No, I no longer have a computer, but somebody did this for me. Position, special education, home services, special ed, homebound instructors, meaning plural. S usually means plural. Homebound instructors, special education, home services, and special ed homebound instructors. That's another one. Pre-K special educational teacher, student support services, early childhood, school library media specialty, student support services, library media specialty, school psychologist, bilingual, student support services, and psychologist, special educational teacher, student support services and special education, student support services, and speech and language pathologist. Now, when you put it in S, that means plural. So basically, I just wanted to go back to the speech that I did prior to. Back in October, Wendy Owen herself asked me to please come in front of this podium at the Board of Education and advocate for her. So everybody sitting here being Board of Education members would know that she's doing 80% plus under pupil services, 20% less under special ed. That is what I did. October of 2015, October ending of 2015, I went on the radio, WATR, with this. Then we had Liz Brown at Mohawk Civics Club that was there when I gave a question about special ed. And I said, how are you going to help Wendy Owen, Superintendent of Special Ed and Pupil Services? I should have said director, and that I do apologize for, because Anne Marie Cullinan used to call herself Superintendent of Special Ed. But anyways, basically, at that time, Miss Elizabeth Brown came back with, I understand, as you know, that we're down 17 teachers of special ed. There's other people, being politicians in the room, and 5 people from Waterbury, Connecticut, also in the room, being part of Mohawk Civics Club. And it's on tape recorder. So I just wanted to mention that. So I'm telling you that when people speak at this podium, please listen to what they're saying. If I said 2 supervisors of special ed, I meant 2 supervisors of special ed, not 17 supervisors of special ed. Basically, you need to listen. You need to dig in, and then you need to do research. Wendy Owen herself asked to go in front of this podium. Could you please listen? Because she's still doing 80% plus under pupil services and 20% less under special ed, which means the special ed population under BDLC, mental health, and everybody within this community is not getting what they need under services they need to get. And when she said fantastic, I just want to say one more thing. Why do we have parents within the school system that don't know who their supervisors of special ed are because they do not show up to PPTs? Because when you're there, the principals say, I'm sorry, the supervisor is not here at the present time, because they're wearing too many hats and they're so short-staffed. So if she is saying what is true, then why are our children under special ed not getting the services they need? And I'm getting phone calls daily because of. Believe it or not, how do you know when somebody downtown is lying? They open their mouth and they try to speak, and I'm sick of it. Sick of it, enough is enough.
Point of order, thank you.
Point of order to you too, enough is enough, thank you.
Athena Wagner.
Good evening, Athena Wagner. I would like to know what became of the things that you were going to discuss and bring back as of the February 4th meeting. I believe there were 4, Liz Brown, that you spoke of, and some of them you instructed the superintendent to bring some information. I'd like to know what was the results of that as a follow-up. Number 2, Principal Brown. I still would like to know why he, the only African-American principal, still out on paid leave, plenty of time. How long does it take to do a Facebook post investigation? He's still out. But the 2 white administrators, no problem. They're back at their school. No problem. I don't understand it. I still would like to know why. Whether you tell me or not, I don't know. I want to know. Doesn't seem fair, as usual. Number 3, and this is a message to the teachers. As I served formerly in the capacity of union vice president, union steward for a fairly large local, if the teachers feel as though they're being underrepresented, misrepresented in any way, shape, or form, I would like to help you out, because I feel as though your union president is misrepresenting you. The representation is not fair. It's who you like, who you hang out with, who you're related to, and then the rules change for who you don't like and who you're not related to. And he's quite busy, but I would like to see him brought up on misrepresentation. Thank you.
Mr. Griffin.
Good evening, members of the board, president of the board. I just wanted to sort of follow up on a couple things. First of all, I did an FOI and I got some information back from the office, central office, and basically it didn't give me what I asked for. I asked for a copy of the affirmative action plan and contract compliance plan. That was one thing I asked for. Before I go any further, I'm speaking on behalf of the Wtby Center for Economic and Social Justice, and I want to ditto the NAACP's charges that were made in the paper today. I just want to say that I support whatever they set forth. Secondly, Kay Wyrick, I understand I saw a real nice article in the paper, and Kay was my former boss, and also I think a very, very, very dynamic lady. She kept me in line, as a matter of fact. That's why I'm so wild today. But, you know, I just wanted to say that I fully support the naming of a library on behalf of Kay Wyrick. I think that would be a great thing to do, especially at this school here. I'm just a little concerned about, and I think Althena hit on it just now, why is it taking so long for you to do an investigation on something that was all in the papers that seems to be sort of, I don't know, I can't figure this out. And why, like she said, why is it just a black administrator, a black principal, and there's 2 or 3 other people I understand that are in question, and these people, they never put anything in the paper about their charges, the allegations that were made or anything, and what's going on? There's got to be something going on. It doesn't take that long. I've been around a long time. So I really want to know what's going on. And I think the people in the city of Waterbury deserve some answers, because there's a veil of secrecy and there's a lack of transparency in the whole personnel process in the Board of Education. you know, I mean, you brought a personnel director on. I brought that point up too. I don't know who the candidates were, but I understand that there was a civil service position that was created for a personnel director. I also understand that there was a person that was in that position that was a black woman that was doing that job. And I don't know if she was considered or not, but I just can't understand with the record of hiring that you have, how you could pass over her and give the job to somebody else that came out. I don't know. I just, you know, I'm confused. And I think that we gotta be a little more transparent, this Board of Education. And by the way, the mayor was on the radio the other day. I'm highly upset that the mayor could go on the radio and complain about us coming down to the Board of Education and expressing our concerns to this board as if we some kind of animals or something. You called the cops, or somebody called the cops on us already, right? Because they thought some mob was coming down here. And if this is the kind of perception that goes on in the sport, then I can see why everybody's sort of paranoid and scared to even deal with you down here. I think you ought to get your act together real quick. I got a minute? I'm going to give you the minute.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak to the board tonight? Can I have a motion?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor, opposed, motion carries. Okay. Thank you. Superintendent's announcement.
Thank you, Madam President. Just some brief but important announcements. I'll go to the first important announcement. About 3 educators were honored as Wtby Mayor of the Day. On Wednesday, February 17th at 10:30, we honored Kennedy High School teacher, Mrs. Joanna Hayes, African-American Mayor for the Day. Our Connecticut Teacher of the Year, our Wtby Teacher of the Year, and one of the 4 finalists for National Teacher of the Year. Also, on Thursday, February 18th, the city honored Tom Malaka as Kosovar Mayor of the Day. He's an author, teacher, and journalist from Kosovo. And on Friday, February 26th at 10 a.m., the city also honored Maria Taveras as a Dominican mayor for the day. She's a bilingual teacher at Hopeville Elementary School. And so we are very proud of all our educators. So that was my first announcement. A couple other brief announcements. We'll be holding a training session for school governance council members on Thursday, February 25th from 4 to 6 at the Wtby Arts Magnet School. A light dinner will be served and childcare will be provided by WAMS. Session topics will include 21st century learning standards, testing, and chronic absenteeism, and much of the leadership staff and curriculum staff will be present. The snow date for this event is March 3rd. Also a reminder that the parents, that the lottery for openings at Maloney and Rotella School closes 3 o'clock on Friday, February 26th. That's again, the lottery openings for Maloney and Rotella will close at 3 p.m. on Friday, February 26th. Very proud of also Laura Lynn Mancini and Karen Sullivan, teachers from Bucks Hill Pre-K at the Annex, applied and won the Margaret Generelli Education Grant to increase technology within their classrooms. The grant, these teachers hope to increase the students' understanding of technology and enhance their literacy skills and broaden their students' mind with experience from around the world. This Saturday, February 27th, is the NAACP presenting a Black History Time Machine, revisiting 60s, 70s, and 80s. The guest speaker is the Honorable Tony Harp, from the Mayor of New Haven. The event and luncheon will be held at New Opportunities Auditorium from 1 to 4. I look forward to this event, and I also will be present. On Monday, February 22nd, Congresswoman Elizabeth Esty will be presenting the 2nd annual 5th Congressional District Black History Month program, Standing on the Shoulders of Giants. And this event will be held from 2 to 3:30 at Veterans Memorial Hall. Just a reminder to parents, the public schools will be dismissed early next Wednesday, February 24th, for Teacher Collaboration Day. Madam President, that concludes my remarks, and I'll entertain any questions the board may have at this point.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the superintendent? Seeing none, thank you. I just have a brief comment. I want to congratulate the Wtby Career Academy students and faculty. I had the honor of attending their Martin Luther King celebration today, and the band was fantastic, the marching band was fantastic, the dancing, and I have to say the kids were awesome. So kudos to all our talented students and faculty at Wtby Career Academy. And I know I was joined by Vice President Rodriguez as well. In terms of some of the issues that came up at the last public hearing, I think the budget is before us tonight, and the special ed teachers, we struggle hiring them. It's not because we don't want to hire them. It's a state shortage area, and we struggle hiring them, and we work very diligently to try to hire them. And hopefully, if anybody here needs a career, go into special education, because it really is a shortage area. In terms of our state grant for recruitment for minority teachers, I invite the public next week. Staff will be available to present the plan as well as the budget, and we're very excited about the initiative. And for the first time in Wtby, we all are together, the mayor, the superintendent, the board, all committed to a diverse staff, and we look forward to working with the community in making this a very productive year in terms of our work together. As far as personnel issues, we're looking at the 25th. February 25th is our next workshop, and we will have a presentation on our State Department grant. Also, in terms of the personnel issues, whenever a complaint is brought forward, we are, by state statute, obligated to pursue that complaint. There is no Gestapo tactics, there's no trolling, there's no getcha, nobody has time to be doing that kind of activity. So I hope we can move forward on and use our common sense as we move forward as a community in addressing these issues. So I thank you for your consideration of that and look forward to further dialogue. Thank you. Moving on to the consent calendar, is there anybody who would like to remove anything from the consent calendar? Hearing none, I'd like to read the consent calendar. 8.1, Committee of the Whole, request approval of the revised 2015-16 school year calendar. 8.2, Committee on School Personnel, request approval of 2 new positions of intramural co-ed tennis coordinator, coach for Walsh and Wendell Cross schools, funded by U.S. Tennis Association of Northeast and the USTA Connecticut Foundations. 8.3, Committee on Curriculum, request permission be granted to Donna Cullen, MMS, and 12 chaperones to take 87 students to New York on March 16th to attend a performance of Finding Neverland. Committee on Curriculum. 8.4, request permission be granted to Tara Doyle, WHS, and 5 chaperones to take 38 students to New York on March 28th to visit the 9/11 Tribute Center. 8.5, Committee on Curriculum, request permission be granted to Heather Patel, NEMS, to take 10 students to New York on March 2nd to attend a performance of Fiddler on the Roof. Committee on Curriculum, request permission be granted to Bob Haxey, Wilby High School, and 4 chaperones to take 49 students to Williamsburg, Jamestown, and Yorktown, Virginia, May 22nd through the 25th. Committee on Curriculum, request permission be granted to Cassandra Fahn, Pierce Kennedy High School, and 5 chaperones to take 20 students to Dallas, Texas, from March 30th through April 3rd to participate in Habitat for Humanity. Previously approved location and date changed. 8.8, Committee on School Facilities and Grounds, use of school facilities by school organizations and/or city departments. 8.9, Committee on School Facilities and Grounds, use of school facilities by outside organizations or waiver request. Could I please have a motion?
Motion to approve the consent calendar, items 8.1 through 8.9.
Second. Discussion. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Number 10, Committee of the Whole, Vice President Rodriguez.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the approval of the Committee of the Whole, the Superintendent of Schools recommends approval of an agreement between the Wtby Board of Education, a United Public Service Employees Union, Local 424, Unit 68, Classroom Assistance and Transportation School Assistance Bargaining Unit as attached. Respectfully submitted, so moved. I understand we have,
Second.
Discussion.
We have with us Attorney Shaw that will go over questions that they may have or describe in detail with regards to the agreement.
Good evening, Commissioners, President Brown, Superintendent. For the record, Attorney Tara Shaw represented the Board of Ed in these negotiations. There are actually two contracts before you. The first one on the agenda, the first one on the agenda is the Classroom Assistance and Transportation Aids. That is Unit 68. I provided you with a summary of changes to the contract, which includes general wage increases, changes to the insurance program. If you'd like, I could go through them, or I could just answer specific questions that you have.
Just give us a summary.
In sum, the classroom assistants, just by way of background, there's 64 total employees in this unit. About 50 of them take insurance. The average annual salary for a member of this unit is $23,000 per year. This contract would be a 4-year agreement. It provides general wage increases of 3% in year 1, 3% in year 2, 2.5% in year 3, and 2% in year 4. The total cost of that is $195,000. However, $20,000 of which can be attributed to guaranteed movement because new hires are brought in at a lower wage rate and have a guaranteed increase by the time they reach 1 year. So really the net cost of that is $175,000. The proposed agreement eliminates the lower health plan, the OPE plan, and essentially moves everyone over into what is now the current high tier plan, the OAP plan. It's not the high deductible plan, but we are significantly increasing the premium cost share that employees will pay from 5% to 20%, from 5% to 15% for this unit. The estimated savings over the 2 years is approximately $120,000. So the net increase percentage is about 4.5% for this entire contract. There are some other minor changes in here. You should also know that this unit, like the other unit that we'll discuss next, was they decertified during the course of the prior contract, and then they reorganized with another union, so they're affiliated now with UPSU. This was formerly a CSEA union.
Thank you. Any questions of Attorney Shaw? Okay, thank you very much. Yes, there's a motion on the, oh, I'm sorry.
I have a question.
Yep, go ahead.
I'm just looking quickly. Thank you, Madam President. I'm not seeing this listed in the budget. Is there somewhere, or if Gary could show me where in the budget these contracts are listed?
Actually, I would ask Mrs. Viola, is she here? No. Oh, yep, there she is. Sorry there. Yeah, I believe we will be making adjustments because.
Yeah, well, most of these positions are grant funded, so you won't see them in the the operating budget. They're
We
mostly
have
grant funded.
unionized employees that work under grants.
Yep, they're part of this SEIU or this UPSU grant union.
Okay. So none of these positions will appear in the budget?
There may be just a small handful, but
Okay,
not.
If you could at some point just show me where they are.
I will, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Commissioner, any other? Commissioner Theriault.
I would be, no question to Attorney Shaw, but I would be remiss if I didn't thank those individuals especially those that work with our special ed population, for the absolutely phenomenal job they do. They certainly are kind, they're compassionate, concerned, and dedicated. And all of our aides that work on the buses and our schools should be highly complimented for the very difficult job that they do, and they do it well. And they make this school system a better system, and especially with our special ed population, handicapped and mentally challenged kids, those people just have a special knack, and there's a special place in heaven for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to 10.2.
Ladies,
Commissioner, go ahead.
ladies and gentlemen, with the approval of the Committee of the Whole, the Superintendent of Schools recommend approval of an agreement between the Waterbury Board of Education and United Public Service Employees Union, Local 424-Unit 69, Administrative Support Staff Bargaining Unit as attached. Respectfully submitted, Dr. Kathleen Millett, Superintendent of Schools. So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Again, just a quick overview of the financials with respect to this unit. This is an administrative support staff unit. There are school secretaries in this unit, IT techs that work with the Department of Education. There are 55 total employees. Approximately 40 of them take insurance. The average annual salary for a member of this unit is $34,000 a year. The contract, again, would be a 4-year agreement. The first year with a 3% general wage increase, the second year with a 3% general wage increase, the third year with a 2.5% general wage increase, and the fourth year with a 2% general wage increase. The total increase amounts to approximately $205,000 over the course of the 4 years, excuse me. Again, the lowest tier health plan would be eliminated, and employees would migrate over onto the top tier plan, and by the end of the 4th year, they would be paying 20% premium cost share. They're currently paying, the majority of the employees are currently paying 5% on the lowest tier plan.
Any questions of Attorney Schwab? And are they grant positions as well?
These are also grant-funded positions, and in both contracts, you should know that if grant funding isn't available, the contracts specifically provide that the positions can be eliminated.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Thank you very much. 10.3.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the approval of the Committee of the Whole, the Superintendent of Schools recommends approval of the Waterbury Board of Education / Waterbury Public Schools to participate in the Connecticut Lighthouse Project as jointly offered by the Connecticut State Department of Education and the Connecticut Association of Boards of Education. Respectfully submitted, Dr. Kathleen Millett, Superintendent of Schools. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Stango.
Thank you, Madam President. I guess I'll just recap. We had, a couple of weeks ago, we had members of the Lighthouse Project from CABE who came to us at the workshop and spoke to us about how we move our board forward in a more professional manner, and and they would offer this training to us free of charge because we are members of CABE, and so I endorse the fact that we will take that offer that they're offering us and to enter into this Lighthouse training. Yet to be determined the days and the time involved with it. But they told us that they are very flexible. They will work with us as far as our schedule and help us to get through the process. So I will be supporting that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that this, I didn't hear that part that it was free, so that kind of helps me. But I must admit that I have some concerns. I did research, it did appear in the paper, regarding Winstead, and they are in receivership. Then I Googled the project and to see which districts have participated. They mentioned Ansonia, Danbury, Killingsley, London, etc. And I was looking for our urban districts, our large urban districts, Bridgeport, Hartford, Torrington, didn't see that, Enfield. So, you know, I'm still at a quandary as to whether or not I'm going to vote to support this because, you know, I'm kind of like with what we have been dealing with, not lately, but definitely in this district. You know, I'm looking for things from CAVE that directly affect, you know, an urban district. And I've been at odds with CAVE on this for a while. So, you know, I would hope when we talk about flexibility, that there would be some flexibility in what information they're going to present to us, particularly in terms of how to deal with the community, how to deal with parents, you know, how to help our students. So I'm kind of at a quandary right now as far as whether or not I'm going to support this, because I'm not really sure how this relates or how much of this information we're going to apply to an urban district. So I just wanted to make that public.
Commissioner Van Stone.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, since I've been on this board, I've also approached CAVE actually in the same area. The first conference I went to, I could see that we were the only urban district there. And I asked those questions. And they've tried to reach out without much response. They're actually very happy that we have had the attendance we have. I believe we had almost 100% attendance this year. So I have asked them, and I've gotten good answers, that they are moving forward, and they do have us in consideration. Of course, proof is in the pudding, and we will see when we go through this. I would also support this, and if it's voted, I'd be anxious to do it. But I have asked some of those same questions, and I've liked the responses I've gotten back. So, thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam President. I too, similar to Commissioner Harvey's concern in reference to the urban district, that's something that sort of stood out to me as well. However, I'll tell you what really sold me was the fact that they were really stating that they would prepare Board of Education members on focusing on more on student achievement in terms of our agenda and how we move forward. And I think each and every one of us would agree that that is probably the most paramount item on our agenda as terms of Board of Education members. Secondly, what definitely sold me is the fact that it's a free service to us. Any opportunity that we can grow leadership skills, professional development skills, and an opportunity to get to know each other better as Board of Education Commissioners, I am in favor of, so I will be supporting this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other further discussion? All those in, I'm sorry, Commissioner Stango.
Thank you. I think that CAVE is demonstrating their willingness to work with urban districts when they travel to Walsh School that night, 3 or 4 of their staff, and presented this to us. So I believe that they are ready to embrace the urban districts as they have been moving to that. I agree with Commissioner Tom Van Stone. In the previous 8 years, 6 years, we questioned. But then as we continue to meet with CAVE, continue to go to the conference, I see many offerings of workshops that the urban districts can use. And I think it's very important too, no matter how, if the majority of this board votes to adopt it, that we have as close to 100% attendance as we can, because if we're doing this as a board, and the board is looking at this somewhat as a retreat, that's not the exact term, but it could fit the needs of that, I think that that we need full board participation for it to work. So again, I'll be supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? All those in favor? Oh, Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you. Another concern I had regarding this is the, it just, again, reading in the paper what Winstead went through, just seemed very basic, what was presented. And I'm just really concerned about that because when, again, we have issues in this district that we really need that are, pointed to an urban district concern. So, yeah, CAVE has been good lately, but again, I just have some concerns about this in terms of what I can take away from this. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to vote. Probably I'll vote against it because I still have that concern. And to spend time in an environment, a kumbaya environment, I guess. I want something that's going to give me some concrete skills on what we can do to decrease the achievement gap, what we can do to get cultural or attune our teachers to cultural things related to our students. So I don't see that in this, so I probably will be voting no. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Sweeney.
Just very briefly, I have attended workshops on Lighthouse projects over the last couple of years that CAVE has offered, and also have spoken with some of the participants of the Lighthouse project. And almost without exception, the comment has always been how much more effective they feel after going through the Lighthouse training. It is not a kumbaya. It is hard work, and anyone who has participated in it will tell you it is very hard work. It takes a deep dive into your district and what things are affecting the education of your students and how you as a board member can affect turning that around. It's long overdue here, long overdue here. And I will wholeheartedly support our participation and make sure that I am there for every single session. So, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Committee on Finance.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the approval of the Committee on Finance, the Superintendent of Schools recommends approval of the 2016-2017 Department of Education's budget request to the Mayor totaling $162,769,818. Respectfully submitted, Dr. Kathleen M. Willett, Superintendent of Schools. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Van Stone. Jason Van Stone.
Thank you, Madam President, through you. I appreciate the work that has been done at central office and by the Finance Committee thus far, chipping away roughly $1 million since we did this a couple weeks ago. I don't feel, however, though, we're at a point where I'm comfortable yet presenting this to the taxpayers. So I'll keep it short and sweet tonight, but I'll be voting no against this. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Thomas Van Stone.
Thank you, Madam President. Again, I also won't go into too much of detail. I have asked a number of questions, most of which have been presented to the board in response. Not all just yet. And there's still a lot of concern I have. A great deal of it is with the Wtby Career Academy. We're going into the 4th year, very important year, the year that will put the final signature on that program. And I do have my concerns. I've stated them in committee. I've stated them here in public. So I also will not be supporting this budget because I still think we do have quite a bit of work to do. So thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you. The motion, I don't know if it if we spelled out that there was a difference between what we voted on last time and what we're voting on now. So I don't know if someone from the committee wants to point that
Oh,
out.
the revised.
The revised, that we're voting on a revised.
The new number is 162,769,818, and I don't have the original number in front of me.
So I'm just making sure that the public is aware of that, giving you some time to look for that.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, and I'm just going to say that it seems that if we can cut, some from what we originally voted for last time, then we could do a little bit more. So, have we gotten those numbers?
Yes.
So I will more than likely be voting against this. Thank you.
Ms. Beal, I just want to make sure I have the correct number. $7,688,814. That was, yes.
That was the original increase.
Correct.
The original.
Correct.
What's the number now?
What was the
What's the
original
total,
total?
though?
Was that number included?
The number included. Doreen, do you have it handy? I'm going through all my. Yeah, I need the total motion.
I believe the original proposed budget was 163,425.
No. Sorry.
Yeah, the original proposed budget was 163,425,000. That was at that time, a $7.8 million increase.
Okay, thank you.
So to clarify, the budget before us has been reduced about $1 million from the original budget that was voted down a couple of weeks ago. Commissioner Sweeney?
For those of us who weren't at the Finance Committee meeting, could I just have some background on what was reduced? Where those reductions are?
Yes, Commissioner, we had the possible reductions were $655,182. $259,583 was transportation savings from regular ed buses from diesel to propane. Also, there's diesel savings from regular ed buses to propane in the amount of $211,909. And then possible Waterbury Career Academy reductions of positions in grade 12 for $183,690,000. So the reduction would be from $7,800,000 to $7,144,818 for a 4.3% budget of $162,769,818.
So am I to understand then that the decision has been made on the change in the buses?
Correct.
Okay.
Commissioner Theriot?
All I can say is thank God for the Alliance grant. By the way, the Alliance grant is supposed to be used for reform for schools that are in dire need of reform, educational reform, for poor academic performance. So thank God for that grant. Because now, I wouldn't clap, Lisa, when you hear what I'm going to say. You're not going to clap. So now, once again, we're going to take $21 million, and we're only going to use about 45% of it for reform. If I'm incorrect at any time, superintendent or anybody out here, any fellow board members, correct me. So we're going to take about, out of that $21 million, we're going to take about 11.5. We're going to put it on the non-reform side. You know what the non-reform side means? It means to supplement our regular budget. So when that happens, we're going to be out $11.5 million on the reform side. to better improve our school system and our educational opportunities for our kids. We're going to reduce it by 55%. Those are the hard, cold facts. Do we need to do it? Unfortunately, we need to do it in this climate, in this environment, because the State Board of Education really should be giving us $21 million for reform only, and maybe another $20 million to increase our ECS, that's educational cost sharing. In addition to that, we probably should get another $44 million to supplement our growing special ed population. So it's good news, and it's not so good news. We've been flat funded, it's my estimation, I think in the past 7 or 8 years, flat funded on the ECS, which is the educational cost sharing money from the state. So as an olive branch, as kind of a slap on the back, they give us this $21 million, and they tell us, with the governor's blessing, it's okay, you can pilfer this. You can pilfer this money away from the kids, away from the reform side, and you can use it to supplement your regular budget. I don't care who approved it. I think it's an atrocity to take this money away from our kids. But this is the environment that we live in. If we don't get this money, where are we going to get the $11 million? We're going to have to get it from the taxpayers. Or we're going to have to go to the state and say, increase our ECS. And I don't know how the taxpayers can shell out any more money. I mean, I have comfortable living, but you know, every year the taxes go up, this goes up, that goes up, food goes up. We're trying to take care of our kids. We're trying to stretch a dollar every way we can. So I just want you to be aware of it. And as I often say, you know, caveat emptor in Latin means let the buyer beware. And you are the buyers. You're the people. You give us the kids. We provide the educational environment and the support services that are necessary for our kids to grow. And I will never disagree with anybody at the podium with regard to your right to speak. I might disagree with the subject or what you say about the subject, but I'll never disagree with your right to speak and the right for you to say what you want to say. So as we go forward, you got to talk to all the politicians out there and make sure that we get our equal share of our ECS money. You can't, could you run your budget today, your household budget, the way you were running it 8 years ago? That's the dilemma this board is faced with. It's kind of a catch-22. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Commissioner Sweeney?
There has been increase in the ECS money. There has been. The Alliance districts, the ECS increase was pulled aside and held by the state and called a grant. It is not a grant. It is our ECS under the state formula. It is the amount of money we should be getting through ECS grants. That is our ECS funding. It is not, Alliance is not a grant. It is our ECS money that the state has decided we should spend in certain ways. But it is our ECS. So our ECS is flat funded at $113 million because we're not getting the increase that every other district got under the formula. So the Alliance money is not a grant. It's not money that's ever going to go away. Because if the Alliance formula goes away, if the Alliance plan goes away, if the state decides not to have Alliance districts and fund them that way, that money will become our ECS money and go back to us as our general fund money. But it is ECS money, and it is under the formula. It's in the budget every year. The state budget will show you exactly how they arrive at that total and how that money is pulled out of the ECS money and called an Alliance grant. It is not, never.
Thank you. Just for a point of clarification, I think both Commissioner Theriault and Commissioner Sweeney are correct. And I've worked up at the Capitol for many, many years. The Alliance grant, if you look at the state statute, is part of our ECS formula, but it was targeted for reform for 30 districts in the state of Connecticut that were underperforming and in need of cash. But Commissioner Theriault is absolutely correct. We have been underfunded under that formula for many years. And it is, as he says, a political fight, and we do need your support in the public to help us, because we really do need, this actually is a bare bones budget in terms of what you and I know this district needs. We have been able to put social workers and psychologists and tutors and behavior technicians and try to put the support services in our schools. And we need to continue that. And so I do think that this is a great discussion, and I do urge the public to help us support funding for education. So thank you. With that said, Commissioner Theriault.
Yeah, as I said 2 weeks ago, just because Commissioner Sweeney said it doesn't mean it's necessarily so. And maybe later on you'll find out what I'm talking about. But I respect Commissioner Sweeney and all the other members of this board for the tremendous research and the job that they do. I don't necessarily have to agree, nor does everyone have to agree with me. You know, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. If I'm right, just be quiet, I guess, or agree with me. But as we go forward, we all know that we have a tremendous dilemma in terms of the budget. And I thank President Brown for her clarification of the issues, because sometimes you can both be right or you can both be wrong, but you're talking about the same topic and looking at it from a different perspective. So sometimes we have to agree to disagree. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote, Madam. Madam Clerk?
No.
Commissioner Pagano?
Yes.
Vice President Rodriguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Stango?
Yes.
Commissioner Sweeney?
Yes.
Commissioner Theriault?
No.
Commissioner Jason Vanstone? No. Commissioner Tom Vanstone?
No.
President Brown?
Yes.
5-4 motion passes.
5-4 motion passes. Thank you.
At least we don't need an opinion from the Corporation Council. No.
Number 12, superintendent's notification to the board. Could I have a motion?
Motion to receive and place on file superintendent's notification. Item numbers. I don't have them in front of me. I apologize, I don't have them in front of me. Yeah.
12-1 to 12-9.
12.1 through 12.9.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, unfinished business of preceding meeting only. Commissioner Sweeney.
Just, I would be more than happy to supply you with the breakdown from the state budget last year that shows the Alliance grant and how that comes out of our ECS money. So
Great.
I will supply that.
Thank you. Number 13, other unfinished new and miscellaneous business. Vice President Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam President, through you. I just want to acknowledge Wtby Career Academy earlier today at noon. They had a Black History Month celebration. Dr. Paddle and the students did a phenomenal job. These kids, these drummers, wow, it is very powerful when you hear these kids play the drums and the trumpets, and it was just really wonderful. And the poetry was timely, and the message was important, and a wonderful, wonderful job by those kids. And they also invited, which was really cool, the Woodrow Wilson Elementary School students to perform the 2 songs they performed for us at the workshop last week. And I got to tell you, we had such a good time. These kids were phenomenal. They were nervous, but they did a great job. But there was this one particular young boy who was just a little star. He was like waving his hands, pumping. He was like very into the music of the Martin Luther King "I Have a Dream," and it was just it brought a big smile to my face, and definitely a star in the making. Lastly, I just want to I did speak to Principal Mendoza, and we're going to have a surprise visitor in honor of Black History Month. I had invited a friend of mine who's a professional boxer, former WBC world champion, Chad Dawson. He's going to come make a surprise visit to the Reed School students, and I'm really excited about that, and so is he. So thank you for the opportunity, and let's continue enjoying this month.
Great. Commissioner Stango.
Thank you, Madam President. I think just to
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Harvey, and then Commissioner.
go ahead, Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you very
Pleasure
much.
to give up the chair to you.
Thank you. I want to just take this opportunity, I think Johanna was here, but she left, just to express my pride as a former mayor for the day, African American mayor for the day, and also as an African American, just my pride of Johanna Hayes having that honor to share for the rest of the year. And I was just so pleased to be there. I know that.
She's still here.
Is she here? Come here, Johanna. Oh, you still here? Okay. So I just, I did want to, I know I said this to you individually, but I just wanted to say that I'm just so proud of you, your speech. I hope we have that on tape because I think it was a wonderful speech. You said that you're getting very used to doing it, so I hope we tape that. But I just wanted to express my pride in having you as our mayor for the day. And I hope you know that your responsibilities will extend for the rest of the year. So I don't know if anyone told you that, but we will expect you at different functions throughout the community to show up as board mayor for the day. So just so that you know that. But I just want to give her another hand.
How did you make out with that police contract?
Thank you, Commissioner Harvey, for that. And thank you to the board for all of your very public support. This is not easy. I had no idea what I signed up for. I had no idea what I was in for. This is not easy at all. On so many different levels, it's more work than I've ever expected. And the only reason that I am still in it is because of my students. Because the teachers that I work with, the teachers in this district tell me that they're place conscious. They have a sense of pride in where they work. That's the only reason that I haven't, if this was just about me, I would have bowed out a long time ago. But this is no longer about me. And the level of public scrutiny is, I'm not sure the word I want to use. I'm inclined to say offensive, but I'm not offended because I believe that God doesn't do anything that you're not prepared for or that you're not ready for. But I have always worked 100% for this district. Now I think I'm working 200% for this district. Weekends, holidays, I've spent more time away from my family and even more time away from my students on behalf of this district. And I believe that that's appreciated, but I don't care if it's appreciated or not because my students appreciate it. They're excited to say that they attend school in the Wtby Public Schools. And having myself gone through this district and been educated in this district and now teach in this district, I have to remind them that their actions should not be dictated by the actions of others. So thank you. Thank you. And next week I leave to wrap up this process. I'll be in Washington, D.C. for 4 days.
which is a very extensive process. Tomorrow is the beginning. It begins with a conference call with the 4 finalists. And then I fly out. There is a keynote speech, press conference, a media interview, a state dinner, a cocktail hour, and a panel interview. So there's about 7 different events over the course of 4 days in which the decision will be made. So pray for me. If you think about me, pray for me. I'm going to do my best on behalf of my students and the teachers that I work with in this district. And again, I thank you. Thank you for all of the support that you have given me through this process, because it was foreign territory for all of us. I never knew what to expect. You know, I'm getting emails from Washington, from Hartford, and I'm saying to the superintendent, what do I do with this? I don't even know what this means. You know, we've never done this before. And I wouldn't be able to do it but for the fact that the board is allowing, you know, just kind of making it up as we go along. So for that, I appreciate it, but I need for you to understand that this is not easy. I teach. That's what I do. I teach. I'm not a legislator. I'm not a policymaker. I'm not a public person. I teach. You know, and for the last 13 years, I've been accountable to my students and to their parents, and now I'm accountable to the country, it feels like. Everything that I say, everything that I think is publicly scrutinized, which is fine with me because I'm pretty straightforward. It is what it is. I'm very transparent. So if you think about me, pray for me.
All right, Johanna, you took up most of my time here. I also want to just mention that, Johanna, that you succeeded Adrian Parkman. So, you know, attorney Adrian Parkman. So just, that wasn't mentioned yesterday, but just want to make sure that everyone knows that. Okay? Thank you, Johanna, and good luck. I sent a memo to Dr. Padua and, let's see, Nick Albini regarding my absence at the Black History program that the Waterbury Career Academy gave today. I usually am there, just a scheduling issue, and you know, sent my apologies for not being there because they really put on a fantastic show, and I'm glad to hear that they continue doing that. So that was just really good to hear, and I told them, I promised them I will definitely be there next year. One other thing I think we did not do, or I was reminded of, is that there was a request for a cyber policy for this district. So I don't know if we're looking into that. We plan to look into that, but we really need to do so. This was as a result of headline of schools check Facebook. So this was January 23rd. So I think we should just make note that we need to look into that. And lastly, there was something that appeared in the paper in regards to our policy of incident reports and how we do that. And I know I was quoted as highly or being very supportive of the new form of relinquishing that information. And I just wanted to say that I have no problems with information that is released, with the exception of names of students, etc., in regards to our arrests. I think the public needs to know that. But when it involves HIPAA issues, I have an issue with that. So I just wanted to clarify that because it said that I wholeheartedly endorsed it, and I don't remember even saying that. I endorse the issue we have to make these numbers available regarding the rest, but not names of students or anything of that nature, just the numbers. So I just wanted to make sure that I made that clarification. And with that, that's all I have.
Thank you. And I think, is it Commissioner Stango next?
Thank you, Madam President. I was just going to comment on the Career Academy. Also, I think they did an outstanding job. Not only did they do it once, but they did it twice, because I was at the early bird version in the morning, and they didn't lose any steam going forward. Thank you.
Great, great. Commissioner Theriot.
I seem to be thanking you a lot tonight, Commissioner Brown, President Brown. And I'm going to thank you again for getting an opinion from the Corporation Council regarding whether or not a vote on our budget could go forward or not. And it was decided it could go on, but ultimately we will have to vote on it. And I was also very enamored with the result of the Corporation Council's opinion, whether or not a vote had to be unanimous to go before the Corporation Council for an opinion. And they said, no, it doesn't have to be unanimous. So some people erroneously recall what the rules and regulations are. So every once in a while, we can all have our challenging moments. So this happened to be a challenging moment, and we were able to clarify it through the Corporation Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Always glad to clarify procedures and policies because sometimes they could be complicated. Thank you. Motion for executive session?
Motion to convene into executive session for discussion concerning the appointment, employment, performance evaluation, health, or dismissal of a public officer or employee.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Thank you.